And it goes and he relates it to the concrete thinking versus abstract thinking, and he makes some good points. I think we can go into it because there's a lot of people out there in the sites that I post on that are really having a problem because they can't get their minds out of the concrete side of this and into the abstract.
Right, right. Now, Bobby, right now, are they listening to the studio feed?
To the music, to the...
Okay.
Yes, to
All right.
Ohio.
2 minutes.
Yep.
All right. Good seeing you, brothers. Many blessings. Hang loose, dude.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the imho.love show. IMHO, in my humble opinion, .love. I am Lou Angelwolf, and very, very happy to be here with two of my great buddies and our co-host every week, or most weeks. He had a little vacation last week, but...
Yeah, not everybody goes on vacation in Alabama.
I'm sure there's a travel agent listening somewhere.
and don't tell the guy whose shirt I stole that I'm still wearing it.
Welcome back, everybody. Michael Murburg, and for his second appearance on imho.love, because he had so many stories that we just couldn't get to. It's our buddy from our CE5 group. He's a member of MUFON and a very, very interesting cat. Leroy Spooner, welcome, buddy.
Welcome. How are you?
Yeah, get close up there. There you go.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yeah, very good. Yes, and Merry Christmas, everyone. This is the 26th of December, 2018. We're on the west coast of Florida here, and we've got it's like 66 degrees outside. And
Yeah, it was nice.
it's very, very. It's
This is why the roads are clogged at this time of year.
all the license plates changed colors, and they're down here parading. We do have a lot of tourists in town now. By January 15th, it's a different world. And it's like that till Easter. They all head home at Easter. I don't know why.
Yeah, I remember a bumper sticker, old one, it read, "Happiness is a Yankee going home with another Yankee under each arm."
Yeah, well, we used to feel that way till we realized the weight of their commerce.
Yeah,
You know? So in a state that the number one industry is tourism, y'all welcome. Come on down. There we go. Stop at Stuckey's. Stay in a hotel.
It's you and Jim Dooley.
Go to Disney World. Go to Disney World. Go ahead.
There's no Stuckey's left.
Every once in a while you see one up in the Carolinas.
Oh, yeah.
They're not down
that's where the Confederacy is retreated to. It's like within 3 miles of every Stuckey's.
I think there's one in Lake City.
Ah, okay.
So,
well,
yeah.
that could be pretty flaggy up there.
That's it can be. But ladies and gentlemen, we're on the West Coast. We're on Tan Talk Radio. 1340 AM, 1350 AM by Zephyr Hills, 1400. We're on tantalknetwork.com. We're on FM 106.1, The Heat. Not so much as the humidity. That's 106.1. And of course, we're podcasting live on YouTube and Facebook Live. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and like I said, the show is about CE5, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is human-initiated extraterrestrial communication through meditations, and we also have some aha moments, and we try to make it a little bit funny too. We have a special guest calling in a little bit later, about 12 minutes from now or so. It's my comedian buddy, Steve Mingola. Who's very much a seeker and an awake guy, but he had a UFO sighting not long ago, so he's going to share that with us. He'll be calling in from his home in Atlanta, Georgia. So, anyway, folks, it is the holiday season. Florida is experiencing some extraordinary weather. The reason the rents are high here, because of days like today. These were like Chamber of Commerce days, like 73 degrees, the humidity's low, there's a nice breeze coming off the Gulf. You're like, wow, is this paradisical? And then some guy from Ohio yells at you at the mall. So, but anyway, here we are, folks, and we've been doing the show. We're like in week number 16 right now, maybe 17. And we really enjoy doing this, and we are turning over information, and we're finding out stuff, and especially about the CE5, the close encounter thing, anything. And the big thing is the exo-consciousness. That's probably the reason you're tuned in here, not necessarily to listen to UFO stories, but there's something in your spirit that's prompting you to learn more about your exo-consciousness.
Yeah, think of yourself as like the 100th monkey.
I am the 100th monkey. I'm a number 100 monkey.
Eventually everything hits a tipping point, and it becomes easy.
Yes.
Right now, there are a lot of people still struggling out there with it. I see it on some of the move-on sites, or that people that are still struggling with concrete thought mechanisms are having a tough time adapting into abstraction and consciousness mechanisms. It's not New Age stuff.
Right.
It's beyond that. It's new,
Sure.
New Age. Comparing CE5 to New Age, anything is like comparing the an Olympic-sized swimming pool to the kiddie wading pool that you buy at the store in plastic at what used to be Toys R Us.
Right.
So this is contact driven, contact generated. I hate to use spirituality, but it is. It's more than the New Age spirituality. It's the real thing.
It's true. Now, Leroy, you and I are on friends on Facebook, and we do post back and forth. The three of us, the group, our whole little family here, and a lot of it is spiritual based, motivational things, and you've been following this for a lot of years, and you're a pretty peaceful cat. What kind of lessons are you learning here? Where is it good with your soul?
Wow, I've been all over the place with the spirituality. I mean, I searched.
Yeah.
From the Bible and Christianity to, I have a copy of the Quran at my house, and I have books from Rosicrucianism to paganism to all kinds of stuff that I've looked into.
So you really did the whole Whitman sampling.
Yeah, Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism. I mean, I went in there and I was looking for answers.
Yes.
And along the path, I always kept that scientific side also. That came from my dad.
Yes.
And when they started getting into the quantum levels and talking about energy transference, and then you tie the spirituality into that there is a place where science and spirituality comes together.
Mm-hmm.
And it all depends on your beliefs, because I believe somewhere it was quoted that the faith of a mustard seed could move a mountain.
Well, that's exactly true, and it's one of the parables that I've often contemplated. In other words, what I get out of that verse is, even if you believe just a little bit,
right,
it's able to expand in a huge way. And I have a similar path as you. I was very curious from a very young age, and I just started seeking. I mean, all my whole life, and but this is kind of like beyond church. It's beyond religion, because there's no dictates to follow,
Right.
other than the ingrained goodness in your soul, your wantingness to be loved and touch love and experience love on a bigger level, and it's that willingness to expose your innocence to this whole thing. And I know that's the one thing in my life, the only thing that I really can't handle, or the thing that makes me angry or hurt or puts me in rage, is when I see people destroying innocence or taking advantage of innocence. It's the one thing that really puts me over the edge. And I know someday I have to get better with that, but I just don't know how at this stage in my life.
Well, it's interesting you said that. When we had a kind of a Christmas party at Lee's house, and Lee played 2 movies for us, and they both dealt with the Travis Walton experience. And the first one I absolutely didn't like, and you talk about innocence. Here I am. I'd read about historically about Travis Walton, knew about him, knew about the experience, knew the factual history of it, and read more than a few articles on it years ago. And then we watched this Hollywood version of was it Fire in the Sky?
Yeah, Fire in the
Sky. And it was like, holy cripes! What the kind of things, the liberties they took with his story, to create a horror movie out of something that he talks about now and says no. I mean, I walked in on that spaceship when I shouldn't have. It was getting ready to take off, and it knocked me out with some kind of energy. And if they didn't pick me up and take me and repair what had happened because of my foolishness, I would not be alive today.
Right.
And they took that life-saving incident that was prevaricated by his own youthful foolishness and stupidity,
Right.
And they turned it into something absolutely dreadful and awful, to the point where they have this guy with awful 18th century metallic torture tools from the Inquisition coming out, and they're showing all this stuff, and none of this ever happened. But talk about take away innocence. When you create fear unnecessarily, that's exactly what you're doing. And we're all born innocent, and we maintain that throughout our lives unless we destroy it.
And it's funny though that Hollywood and our own government feeds into that fear and wants us somehow to fear even going out and doing a CE5, because these creatures, or whatever we want to label them, in their fear are out to get us.
Sure. Well, that's the main thing that I see that the media platforms prey upon, and it's all government backed and initiated. They want to keep us in fear. They want to keep us off balance. That's why every news story starts out with something horrible. If it bleeds, it leads. And they want that for almost everything. They want to be able to keep us off balance. And I'm feeling it now too. I feel a little bit, even as I try to be together as I am, I meditate. I do spend time in solitude, but I still, all the information that's attacking me on a daily basis, things that are being undone in my mind and things that are being created in my mind, it's very fatiguing. And I know there's a lot of my friends and a lot of my associates and colleagues that are feeling a very similar thing. It's battle fatigue. It really is. We're fighting for our minds every day, and it just moves a little bit tighter, and then you gotta stretch back out, and you gotta reclaim your freedom. What happens is you start believing their baloney, and then you just got to bust back out of it and go, no, none of that stuff is true. I don't have, anyway, telemarketer. I don't have,
The rent's due.
Did you make your truck payment? Anyway, I just don't have the tolerance that I used to have, or maybe it's that the information's becoming sharper and sharper.
Well, I saw that this week. I was viewing an interview between Richard Dolan, who has some good stuff, but he's got a lot of History Channel exposure, got a lot of mainstream UFO guys. He's a mainstream UFO guy, but he was interviewing David Jacobs, and Jacobs essentially, without ever having read the Free Study, starts poo-pooing and saying, yeah, it's naive. I mean, how is a scientific study naive when it comes to factual conclusions based on proven scientific method with peer review? I mean, these people are making statements about books they haven't read,
right?
And here they are saying, yeah, I've put these, here's David Jacobs, and I believe Jacobs did the hypnotic interview of Travis Walton, which he gets his bona fides, and he's a PhD in history and a hypnotist. He's not a doctor. He's not a psychologist. So whatever he did, it wasn't the same as a psychiatrist or psychologist doing it and following other protocols. And he's out there speaking as an expert because he goes around as a hypnotherapist saying, yeah, I did this and I did that. And pardon me, but I don't think even though he's touted, I don't think he has the credentials as a non-scientist to critique a scientific book.
Right, you're right.
Home on this, and what they end up doing is saying, "Oh, these, I put these people under hypnosis, and then and they get tortured and all this stuff." And it's like, well, something. I've talked to people that I haven't had to put under hypnosis, and they've had face-to-face contact with ET and non-human intelligent beings, and all the contact has been positive. And you go from a doctor who's not a doctor,
right?
Number one, putting people under hypnosis, which is the absolute weakest form of recall,
right?
And then coming up with conclusions based on what they come up with after numerous sessions with cherry-picked subjects to come up with this stuff. And I just think it's a travesty for somebody like that to be criticizing scientific studies that are non-fear-based and trying to sell books and make a name for themselves.
Well, he's sensationalizing it, and he's trying to sell tickets to his performances.
Yeah.
So therefore, if he flies in the face of proven scientific study, it's going to, like P.T. Barnum said, say anything you want about me, just spell my name right. So if he goes down as a charlatan, that really, that may be okay with him because he's trying to propel his thing.
Yeah, but it's all part of the government program. But as long as they keep us in fear, we can keep on funding militaries to the tune of $1 trillion a year. And let's bring it all into space, because guess what? We're pulling out of Syria, and we'll have no more enemies left in the Middle East if there's peace there.
We need new enemies.
Right.
We're going to get some.
Russia and China just aren't good enough, so we have to look to the sky.
They're too big. Yeah. They're too big to pick
they'll
up.
beat us up.
Well,
that has been predicted.
Well,
too.
if China ever came this way, our entire military would be wiped out, and they would still have 5 columns ready to go.
Yeah.
There's just that many people.
Yeah.
The population of their military is mind-blowing.
They got more smokers in China than we do have people in the United States.
There you go.
And
that's one way to gauge things.
Yeah, I have a friend whose father was at the Yalu Reservoir, and anybody, any military historian, anybody who was in the Korean War knows Yalu. And his father, he was a Marine. He said, "For God's sake, I don't know how I survived it because we couldn't kill him fast enough."
Jeez, isn't that something?
They just kept on coming in waves and waves and waves.
It's a crazy world, folks. But like I promised you before, we have our special caller. This is a stand-up comic buddy of mine that I haven't seen in a couple of years. We stay in touch on social media, and he has recently had an ET experience that he wants to share with us. Welcome to the imho.love show, Steve Mingola.
Thanks, Lou.
How are you, brother?
I'm good. Good, bro. How you doing?
I'm living the big life, man. It's all limos and Learjets, you know.
Damn. You know, I didn't take care of my money, so I'm kind of counting on my daughter.
Yes. I hope my son is very successful.
Yeah, I call it. My kid's like an honor roll student. She's into. She's a genius with computers and art. She's already selling her art online. She's only
Wow.
15.
Wow.
I know. She's. I call her my 401k. Really.
Justifiably so. Steve, it's good to hear your voice. You had a nice holiday, I trust?
Yeah, how about you?
Everything just fine, man. You know, I'm farting through silk here.
For the kids, really.
Yeah, it is for the kids. And now, you and I we've been friends a long, long time. We sure don't get to see each other enough. But, and we were just having a little conversation about an experience you had with a UFO sighting. How long ago was this? Tell us about it.
3 years ago, November 20th,
Okay.
at about 12:30 a.m.
Okay.
I had just gotten off the road. I was sitting outside. I'm a stargazer.
Right.
Been doing it. It's habitual. I can't go out without looking up.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way.
My eyes are always in the sky.
I stare right at the sun. I stare right at the sun.
You've seen the UFO. You've had an experience too, correct?
Yes.
All right. So I've had like a couple. One, was like I don't know, an orb, I guess.
Okay.
It was inexplicable. It just it was a solid light that just moved through the sky. It wasn't like a satellite. It was too big.
Right.
That was when I was young. When I was really, my dad was in the Air Force for like 30 years.
Okay.
So growing up, I moved around all these bases and stuff like that. And I really got into it when I was a kid, living in Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico. So anyways, I've been looking up. And in the same year, I saw two UFOs. One, I don't know what you call it. It's not a boomerang, but it's a.
Okay.
It's like a. It looks like a boomerang, but it's got a point to it.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And then the lights are underneath.
I believe they call that a chevron.
Yes. It is. That's a chevron shape. I got. You're on the air with Michael Murburg and Leroy Spooner. Both guys are experiencers and know a fair amount about this. Was it like a triangle, like three lights?
Well, no. Here, that's the one the one that the chevron was just. It went over. I saw it while I was driving in my car, so it was very quick.
Okay.
But the other, the one that I saw 3 years ago, flew right over my house, and it's a what do you call it? It's the triangle with the three lights.
Okay.
The TR3B.
TR3B. Okay, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
And
that's
this
the model of. That's what they call it anyway.
And you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area.
Right. I'm northwest.
Okay.
Atlanta.
That's a nice part of town.
So yeah, it's nice, and it's kind of like the foot of the mountain, Georgia mountain.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous up there. And so how long was your vision cycle? How long were you able to look at the craft?
Oh, this is what pissed me off. My phone was inside the house. Only 20 feet away.
Right.
But I knew in my mind, if I go get it and come back, this thing's going to be gone.
Right.
And I didn't want to lose it. So I was in my yard jumping up and down. I was pointing at my eyeballs and then pointing my fingers at the spacecraft, trying to get them to know that I see them. Okay.
Interesting.
This thing
sounds
was
happy.
Massive. Huh?
It does sound happy. And they're like looking down at you going, you want to pick this goofball up or what?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'm standing out. I'm in my driveway. I'm looking up, and there's a tree that blocks the street lights on my. So I always stand in the same spot. So all the and this night, it was one of those nights where you could actually see the Milky Way, the belt.
Oh,
you know.
nice.
I mean, that's how brilliant the stars were that evening. And
Super clear, yeah.
When this thing came, it was I'm at the corner of a cul-de-sac. I'm the first house on this street.
Okay.
So it's coming up from the end of the cul-de-sac, and I see it. I'm looking at it like, what the hell? And it was floating like a frisbee.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, the reason it was the same speed that a frisbee would float, and it made no noise whatsoever.
How big was it? How big was it?
Well, because of my depth perception and it was nighttime.
Okay.
I'm thinking, because of how big it was, I'm thinking it's low, maybe 5,000 feet.
Okay.
But even at that height, this thing's bigger than an aircraft carrier.
Oh, really? So this is a huge thing.
Yeah. Dude, it was massive. When it went over my neighbor's house and then started going over mine, and I'm running and I'm following it from one end of my house all the way around. I saw it for at least a good solid minute and a half before
Sure.
it just kept floating and floating away and away. And I'm like, no, am I the only person? I went online immediately and posted, was asking people, anybody else see that? I
Right.
was so pissed I didn't have my phone, but I was afraid to go get it.
Well,
I thought it would be gone when I came back out.
I still think you did the right thing and absorbed the experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because now, Steve, see what happens is when you know, okay, when you have these things happen to you, it changes everything about your life because it changes your ultimate reference point on a lot of topics, okay? And it enables us to understand the scope of our society in a bigger and broader way. When you start reading all this nickel dime fake news, clickbait baloney, because you had that experience, it's so much easier for you to click away and censor what it is you're going to let yourself absorb because you already know a larger and higher truth. Okay? So
Sure.
It was an absolute blessing that you sat there and observed it and didn't pretend you were a 17-year-old girl wanting the world's coolest selfie. And this is me and Battlestar Galactica. But having that change and having that concentration and having the exposure to that energy, seeing something that size, and then and knowing that it moves silently, it's.
Right.
I mean, if there's anything that proves there's other dimensions out there, it's things like that.
Yeah.
Now, Leroy, you had a sighting as well when you were in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay, and add that in with Steve's story.
Well, I don't know exactly when that craft was made, man-made, that looked similar to it.
Right.
But at the time, I had seen a triangular ship going over top of me, silent, just at treetop level.
And what year did you say that was? 68?
No, that would be more like in 79 to
Okay.
80, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And I just sat underneath this thing, had the lights underneath, and it just moved, like very slowly across the sky.
Were they silver lights, red lights? You remember?
When I go back to the lights, I wasn't focused as much on the lights as the craft itself.
Sure.
I could say maybe white to amber
Okay.
in color
Okay.
underneath.
And Steve, what color was the craft you were observing?
I'm glad you brought that up because I have Googled as much as I can to find my ship, my UFO. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like UFO sightings. I'm looking at thousands of photos.
Okay.
Trying to find my ship.
Mhm.
That's how I found out that it's a TR-3B UFO.
Okay.
It's the triangle. Okay, but most photographs are either blurry or they're depicted as a drawing, and there's a mistake. Okay,
Okay.
that the lights underneath are not round. All right,
Mhm.
this is what blew me away. Okay, this thing was so massive. I saw the three lights. There's it's a black triangle, and dude, that's what when it went overhead over my, you couldn't see the stars behind it anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
how
Wow.
defined the black of it was. So, but the lights were, and I saw them in detail. They were like brick shaped.
Okay.
Okay, but the color was like a pumpkin, like a lit pumpkin, like on Halloween when you light.
Oh, really?
That orange color.
Nice.
Yep, and it was but the bricks were defined. It was like maybe on low. I'm thinking maybe that's low power.
It was a pump.
Bright, like in the photos that I see, it's always a bright light.
It was a pumpkin spice. It was a pumpkin spice T3B. So, hey, Steve, we got to go to break. Can you hang in with us?
Of course.
Okay, we got to go to break. We'll be back in 6 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening to the imho.love show. The phone lines are open, 727-441-3000. If you have a commentary, we'll be happy to take your call. But we'll be back with Steve Mangola, Michael Murburg, and Leroy Spooner. We'll be back here in just about 6 minutes. Let it rip, Bobby.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills.
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Well, U.S. markets changed direction today, and that's a good thing.
The closing bell capped off a rally that turned out to be the largest single-day point gain in the stock market's history. The more than 1,000-point increase was a 5% rise, but given how far stock prices have fallen in recent months, it only brought the Dow back to where it was on Thursday. Stocks are now down 7.1% for December and 7.45% for the year.
Correspondent Steve Kastenbaum reports the Dow closed at 22,878. The S&P gained 5%. The NASDAQ was up nearly 6%. Plans for a commander-in-chief to visit a war zone are made quietly, so it's no surprise President Trump's visit to Iraq was a surprise. At Al-Assad Air Base, correspondent Jessica Dean reports the president spoke about the future of U.S. troops in Iraq as well as in Syria.
He said, we're not planning to withdraw any troops from here right now. In fact, he talked about using that nation as really a base to engage if they need to go back into Syria. And then he really doubled down on his plan to completely withdraw troops from Syria, saying that, quote, people are going to come around to my way of thinking.
And Trump told reporters he's in no hurry to replace Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, who resigned over disagreement with the Syria pullout. Trump said he'll have no trouble finding a new defense chief.
Everybody wants that position. Everybody. So many people want to be.
Is
who would
you even have to question NASA fakery?
Air Force One was landed at Ramstein Air Base in Germany, where Trump will also visit U.S. troops. The Trump administration has announced it'll keep a tent city holding more than 2,000 migrant teenagers open through early 2019. In June, the Tornillo facility, opened with space for up to 360 kids, is now held by some 2,300. I'm Evan Hain.
Kennedy Space Center and everything.
Message and data rates may apply. Please do not text and drive.
Beep's coming. You know what to do.
Hey, I'm gonna just rip this Band-Aid off. We need to break up. You're not good for me. I'm always sweaty and uncomfortable around you. And we're not getting any benefits from this relationship. You're just a basic memory foam mattress. I deserve better. And before you ask, yes, there is someone else. I've been seeing the purple mattress online for a while now. And don't blame yourself. How can you compete with a bed that totally supports me, hugs my pressure points, and sleeps so
Well, let's share your story about the 900.
Not to mention the 100-night trial.
Was that in Joshua
shipping.
Tree?
No, that was
That's a bed with benefits.
Rhodes.
It'll make me feel better than you ever could.
Break up with your old mattress and get with the Purple today. Get a $100 store credit with the purchase of a mattress. Just text COZY to 474747 to get your $100 store credit. The only way to get this exclusive offer is to text COZY to 474747. That's COZY to 474747.
If you would like to become a wholesale buyer of the premium quality longevity product that you hear about right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network, for personal service, you can pick up the phone right now and call Lola at 727-441-3311. Again, that's Lola at 727-441-3311. Or for even faster service, log on to tantalkhealth.com. That's tantalkhealth.com. Here's your health and longevity.
Are you looking for some Monday motivation? I'm Karina Morrison.
Then on Mondays on Tan Talk Radio Network from 7 to 9 a.m.
The Shop Local for Good News team will be bringing you the good news stories from your neighborhoods, from small business owners and local nonprofit leaders.
Visit us at shoplocalforgoodnews.com or tune in Mondays, 7 to 9 a.m. Tan Talk Radio Network.
That's shoplocalforgoodnews.com.
Hello, this is Brian Smith speaking. Again, this winter season, vacationing Canadians are staying in touch with home, listening to Canada Calling throughout Florida. And right here on the Tan Talk Network, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. and 12 noon. Join me for Canada Calling, a 65-year listening tradition on WTAN AM 1340 and FM 106.1, WZHR Zephyr Hills, AM 1400 and FM 104.3, and WDCF Dade City, AM 1350.
Hey Bay Area, this is Bad Craig, host of WTN's newest talk show, Smoke Cigars, Tampa's only true lifestyle show. With me and my sidekick, Mr. Producer, we will feature many of the local Tampa-based cigar shops. We'll keep you updated on cigar-related news, cigar tips, and trends. We'll also talk to some of the biggest names in the cigar industry. All this and so much more. So sit back, grab your favorite smoke, and enjoy. Right here on Smoke Cigars, Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on WTN Radio Network.
Bobby, what's wrong with the car?
Uh-oh, I think it's broke.
Look, that thing there is all smoked up.
We got a pair of pliers and a screwdriver. We can find out.
I think we should just start poking stuff.
All right.
Don't do that, folks. Tune into the Grease Gurus. Don't go to the emergency room. Go to the Grease Gurus and learn why your car might have stopped on the side of the road and what not to touch.
On Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Ouch, that hurt.
Tom O'Brien is on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Every Monday through Friday from 4 till 5 p.m., Tom takes to the airwaves as he breaks down the day's market action. Tom combines his technical knowledge of the markets with his years of trading experience to take your calls and questions every market day from 4 to 5 p.m. Whether you're new to trading or an active day trader, don't miss out on the Tom O'Brien Show live on the Tan Talk Radio Network from 4 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Lou Angelwolf, Michael Murburg, Leroy Spooner here in the studio, and we still have Steve Mingola on the line.
Absolutely.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the imho.love show. We're talking about extraterrestrial experiences, and Steve shared a really, really interesting sighting that he had a few years ago. A craft, he said, that was as big as a battleship. Now, on the break...
No, aircraft carrier.
Aircraft carrier. Well, that's even bigger, right?
Dude, the size of the lights that were on it were the size of because I'm trying to. What's been bothering me ever since I saw it was how high was it? Was it 5,000 feet? Was it at 10,000 feet? I'm on the jet path from Atlanta Airport, so the planes always fly over my house.
Right.
And they're usually at about 20,000 feet by the time they get. Because the airport's on the south side, I'm on the north side.
Okay.
So, knowing that, the engines on this craft were the size of a jumbo jet in the sky at 10,000 feet. So if this thing's at 5,000 feet, it can hold 30 jumbo jets on it. That's how big it was.
Wow. Now, Michael was out in Mount Shasta a few years ago. Tell us what you saw out there, buddy.
Yeah, we had I was out at Mount Shasta with Costa Macraeus and with Rose, with Hollis and Celia Hatch. It was a great group. Talk about a great group to have a CE5 training with. But we were out there, and one of the nights we were out there, we watched a boomerang-shaped craft, and it was about 900. It was light brown in color, but it was about 900 feet from wingtip to wingtip, very slowly going over the valley in front of the mountain. Rose and I had a chance to watch it cover the entire sky. There were 40 people in the group. They all saw it. It was followed by another similar craft that was about 600 feet from wingtip to wingtip that had a lighter color and a lighter glowing light. There weren't specific lights, but they all glowed from the bottom. And that was just one of the many. I mean, last October out in Joshua Tree, I had seen a gigantic circular ship. There's more to it than just the circularity, but you know, it was cloaked, but you could see through it, and it was causing the stars to bend in such a way that, you know, it was kind of like, hey, you can do better than that, can't you? If you really wanted the scene. But it was gigantic too. I mean, literally, it covered up about anywhere between 15%, about 15% of the sky, and there was no way to tell how high up it was or how large because it was so damn large.
Man, so what do you think? It was 900 feet?
Well, that one, oh my God, I don't know. It's just it wasn't really close. I know that much. It was at least 3,500 feet up.
Okay.
I mean, because, you know, just kind of gauging from like Steve said, you know, when you're in the flight path, you get to know what the civilian aircraft are flying, what the government are flying, and their altitudes, and the local guys. But it was so gigantic, it was hard to see, hard to tell the size, but it blocked out 15% of the sky.
Wow. You know, there's an app for your phone called Planes Overhead that you can just shine your phone. You know, that's when the military gave us the GPS for our little personal things. It'll tell you how high it is, where it's going, what the flight number is. It's pretty amazing. I wonder what happens to that. Cool. I wonder what happens to that app when something that isn't registered shows up.
Reports it to the government.
That would be the thing to do, is turn that app on. Just walk around with it on. So phone's dead again. Checking the planes.
But Steve, I got a question for you. So much of the ET, NHIB, non-human intelligent being contact that we have is heart chakra related. Did you find yourself being in any way spiritually elevated, or just feel your call it a vibrational level? Did that rise up after you saw the craft?
Is that for me?
Yeah, it was for you.
Oh yeah, you know, it was a relief, mostly a confirmation of what I've already believed. It was, you know, I mean, man, if we could somehow have proof of God, that would just change everything.
Sure.
But you never would. I mean, how? It's not going to happen. And so I don't know. I was so excited. I was just giddy, laughing, trying to get its attention to let them know I see it. I'm following it as far as I can down my street.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, you know, I mean, it was right over my house. It was just.
You were kind of.
Thank God, I'm not crazy. What I do believe in is actually real.
Yeah.
It was confirmation. It was just.
They keep on telling you God is real, and I use that loosely. I follow the Tao, so whoever's, you know, but
whatever the Godhead is.
Whatever the God is.
Well, the question is, what is God?
Right. Well, they tell you our God is real, but your UFOs are all baloney. So, and all of a sudden you realize, like, you know, hey, I've seen UFOs, but I'm still waiting on God.
Right.
Dude, that's a pretty good. Think about it. How close are we?
Right.
How come they haven't contacted us? I mean, is it the Prime Directive, or what?
They've started contacting us. That's what they're doing right now. They're desensitizing our fear, so it becomes more commonplace and more acceptable, and eventually they'll I think that's the way it's
I think
going.
they're already making deals with government.
Well, some would say that's correct. I don't know, and I can't attest to anything that I don't know as a fact from my own personal experience, nor will I.
Every president since
Spoken
Ronald
like an
Reagan
attorney.
has every president since Ronald Reagan has joked about, hey, if the government knows, then I'm going to get them to tell me.
Right.
And they've all done that joke. Every one of them.
Right.
Even through Trump. And so, is that part of the letting everybody down easy? I mean, because what's going to happen to religion? There's over 4,000 religions on this planet.
Right.
And it's going to be a big smackdown on, well, so what you believed your whole life really isn't true. These guys have something else to say.
Right.
And they're from another planet.
You know, Steve, I wanted to share a funny little vision. I'm picturing you in your neighborhood, running down the street, winking and smiling at this aircraft. You were the intergalactic version of a kid in the back of a minivan giving the trucker the pull down signal so he'll blow the horn.
Yes.
It's me, dude. It's me. It's Steve. I've been wondering where you are. Dude, I'm right here. So.
Dude, have you guys seen that show that was the comedy about the UFOs?
I have not.
And they had a character just like that. He wanted so bad to be taken up.
Right.
He found a group of people anybody who's been abducted, and these people meet on a weekly basis. And this guy wanted to be abducted so bad, he went to those meetings and pretended he was abducted.
Mm-hmm.
It was hilarious.
He was trying to get the inside scoop. He was in the green room of the abductees. So,
I don't know, man.
It's like, sorry, Charlie.
He's an abductee wannabe. That's what he wants.
Not humans with good taste. Not humans that taste good.
Oh, dude, you know what? That is an option, isn't it? I mean, what if that is? What if we're a crop and they're just waiting to harvest?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard so many points of view on this, where they're all bad, they're all good. There's a mix of good and bad, and I'm just knowing the way the world is. I'm pretty much satisfied with there's going to be some bad guys and there's going to be some good guys, but
in the end, love still wins out.
Exactly, it's the ultimate winner. See, there is no, and that's kind of the backbone of this whole show. Is regardless of what's going on in your world, if you're having trouble at work, relationships, money, whatever, what eventually wins in every situation is love. Whether you're there to recognize it, see it, and praise it, that's totally up to you. And that's why the extraterrestrials, one of the things we do in our CE5 is we prepare ourselves through meditation for the softest side left of us. So you can.
I believe that too. I meditate thinking that it's a frequency that maybe their telepathy must be easy for them.
Well, Steve, do you know about CE5?
No, what is that?
It's Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. And get your pen ready because there's a great book that teaches you how to do it, and it's written by Celia Hatch, and you can get it at ace5handbook.com. And if you want another way in, my group uses a method that I helped develop. It's not all mine. It came out of Stephen Greer's CSETI initiative initially, until I kind of fine-tuned it to meet my own preferences. But if you would like a copy of my protocol, it also has a bunch of links to YouTube to get you hooked up with some videos and how-tos and what it's all about. So feel free to ask.
Yeah, you could start your own group up there in the Atlanta area, man.
And
yeah, I think I already got a little bit of a following, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. What you also need to do is go to etletstalk.com.
What?
Yeah, etletstalk.com. etletstalk, LETSTALK. .com. That's Costa Macraeus' group. They've got about 11,000. Last a couple of years ago, they had 11,000. I don't know what they're up to now. But they'll get you hooked up, and they're looking for people to. That's what I do. We're in my group. I try to train other people that want to start their own group elsewhere. But right now, we've got 100 people, almost 100 people in the group.
Wow.
And nobody's leaving to start their own. So we must be doing something.
Oh, we're making it nice and cozy for them. And Steve, this is something that is totally within your wheelhouse because, you know, your background in stand-up comedy. It's amazing how many comedians are linked to this.
Yeah, the Buddy Bolton link. And when we go out there in the field, at some point in time, we all kind of get out of our meditative mode and start telling jokes and stuff. And then the ET just starts showing up. It's like, you know, we got free admission to a comedy show and
Sure.
no drink minimum.
Well, if you're laughing, you ain't hating. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things.
Heck yeah. Good outnumbered bad 1,000,000 to 1, man.
That's right. And Steve, with the power that you have within yourself, I know you're a big-hearted, loving guy. Everybody I know loves you. And if you started your own group and just start out simple with 2, 3, 4 of the people that you're most comfortable with, go.
You want to know where I lose them?
Where?
Since we're in the holidays, this is perfect. All right. Here's my theory.
Okay.
The 3 wise men were extraterrestrials.
Okay.
Following a ship, not a star.
Okay.
The angel Mary was a virgin, and so feel it's immaculate. No, it isn't. We can do that today. We can make a virgin pregnant with
Sure.
artificial insemination.
Right.
So why wouldn't they have that? So Jesus was a half-breed.
Yeah. Okay.
Or even have
That's
some.
where the knowledge that he had came from, about love, about all of this. And he started a movement over 2,000 years ago that's still going on today. That's what people forget.
Right.
The religion came after he was gone. They didn't start writing about him until like almost 100 years after his death.
Right.
That's how powerful his message was.
So when you get into this deeper, there's also something known as the law of one, the raw tapes, and Jesus was actually a fifth density, a spiritual, physical complex that reincarnated into a physical world. You know, we're all incarnated at the time of conception. When the sperm enters the egg, there's literally a spark of energy that happens. And it's that same spark of energy that gives birth to all humans. And I don't know anything more than that. But you know, it comes from somewhere, and we're not quite sure where that comes from. So you know,
I got one for you on where it comes from.
Okay.
Think of the earth as everything. Everything that is on earth has been on earth since the beginning of earth. Earth is earth. No matter what it looks like now.
Right.
It came from the earth.
Sure.
Everything that's okay. So the population of humans is going up to 8 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many creatures have gone extinct.
Mm-hmm.
That what if your soul, your being, is an actual product that is also part of this earth, and so it goes from one creature to another to a man repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at the Indian texts that, or you know, the Buddhas that have been reincarnated over the years,
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over and over. How many civilizations were here before us?
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And so what if?
Go ahead.
Are we coming from somewhere, another dimension, or are we just here on this rock?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I believe that there is extraterrestrial interaction on a daily basis across the planet. All languages, this, that, and the other thing. And you're exactly right, because when you expire from this slogging bag of mud that you're inhabiting right now, your spirit moves on to something else, whether it just blends into the background, whether it goes to the next dimension. That is something we don't know that much about the spirit realm yet. We have good guesses. We have people that have had experiences.
We need to bring back the dead to find out so we can question them. What is it?
Well, that's another that's another similarity between contact consciousness and after or near death and after death experiences. They're what Beyond UFOs, the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters and Extraordinary Experiences. Their book brings out the fact that all these consciousness experiences are interrelated, and they almost virtually mimic each other in similitude and similarity. So, your hypothesis is getting close to the reality that they've actually found and written about.
And the thing that I'm noticing across all these things, no matter what position you're standing on as far as transition goes, but the element of love is in everything. It's in every tree, every blade of grass. It is the
universal.
It is the thing that moves everything. Every cell, even the smallest cell, does three things. It eats, it digests, and it expels. And we do that constantly here with the cells, the skin cells of your body regenerate, every 7 days or something like that?
Yeah, you're a whole different person than you were, right?
And I love that about me. So
yeah, me too. What is it? Is who I was, who I am, and who I'm going to be are three different people.
So that's why we have stage names. But anyway, but what I'm saying,
you got the coolest name of all. That is so. We got Angel in it. Come on, man, you were made for this.
Tell me about it. Tell me what that's the thing. It's funny. I was talking to my mom about it today, and my mom is a direct experiencer too, and in fact, she experienced extraterrestrial craft while I was in her tummy, she was like 8 months pregnant, and I think that's when I got my download, because I've said it a few times on the show. I ain't from around here. But
you ain't from Alabama either.
Yeah. People always say, "Where are you from?" I say, "Earth."
Yeah, somewhere in the Pleiades. But
the Pleiades. Yeah, just point.
So what? So with this constant regeneration of spirit, I was talking to my mom. I go, Mom, I said, maybe you were standing there next to that well on the farm in upstate New York with your mom, and I got my download, and now I've grown up. I'm a full-grown, aging man, and now it's time. Maybe you were put there to bring me in, and for me to share what has been revealed to me, and I share all these things with my son, all this possibility thinking, and all this beautiful love regeneration. So, and that's what we find is we have this beautiful regeneration of love that always overpowers any war, any battle, anything all that stuff falls to the wayside. And at the, just like a flower busted through a crack in the sidewalk, love wins every time. So knowing that and seeing what you've seen, feeling the way you feel, and what you do for a living, Steve, is you make people laugh. You're a very, very funny man. You have a fantastic show. And the joy that you bring to this earth, you attenuate the vibration in the rooms that you visit. You make people forget their issues for 45, 55 minutes. And then, it literally is, you're like a little Pied Piper of joy, just going from place to place. And that is your cellular level of success. You eat it, you digest it, you expel it. So what you're doing is
what Joan Rivers said. It's not an occupation. It's not a job. It's a calling.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I love it. I mean, I can't quit. I can't stop.
Right. Exactly. It's who you are. Knowing who you are is one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah.
There's so many people, I'm knocking on 60, and I know a lot of my friends that still don't know who they are.
Oh, I know, dude.
You ask them who they are, they'll go, well, I work at Progress Energy. you know?
Oh yeah, what do you do?
Right, they define themselves by their job, and I'm like, I mean, you know, now unless you're having an esoteric conversation, you know, whatever you tell somebody if you work somewhere, that's okay, I guess. But as you get a little deeper, there's some other layers.
You guys seem pretty smart. I got a quote. I got a quote here that I've had on my well, it used to be my vision board, but now it's just my board.
Okay.
And I don't know who's. I've referenced every phrase and words and tried to find who this quote belongs to.
Okay, what is it?
I've had it for so long, but you guys are gonna love it.
Good.
There it is. When it seems as if the world is about to implode on itself, with all the pollution, disease, and war, famine, fatigue, and fear, there are still those who see the beauty, who act with kindness and live with hope and gratitude. And these are the people who carry the entire planet.
Ah. Wow, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yes.
I don't know who quoted it, though.
I don't know. He's describing spiritual paramedics, though. And I believe that is part of our job.
It's a great observation, whoever made it.
It's absolutely beautiful. Steve, believe it or not, our hour is done. So, in my shabby Christopher Walken impression, I gotta say goodnight. But
Lou, it's really a pleasure, man. Thank you so much, dude. I know the last time we saw each other was super circumstances, but it was I had such a great time talking to you.
Hey, absolutely, buddy.
If I get my butt down there to Florida, you know.
Please do. We're only a state away. Hey, and don't forget to share this video, like this video. It's going to be up on YouTube.
Was he talking about Baird? Was that the last time you saw each other?
Steve Baird. Actually, Tim Wilson.
Ah, okay.
Tim Wilson,
yeah, Tim Wilson. Another sad story. Thank you, Steve Mangola. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Michael Murburg and Leroy Spooner, thanks for coming in again, buddy. It was great having you.
Happy New Year.
And this is the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. We'll be back next Wednesday night, and we'll do more of this. Love you. Bless you. Good night. Good job.
It's the music of your life on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Huge one that was as big as 2 aircraft carrier.
Really?
And then you had the Phoenix Light.
Yes.
Right out in Phoenix. That was a huge craft.
That was.
So when he's talking about the size of the craft that he had seen,
yeah.
You know, in comparison, there's some big shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, YouTube, or no, Facebook, thanks for listening and watching, and we love the fact that you do. Thank you so much. Share this with your friends, like it, whatever you want to do with it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll be back next Wednesday, and it'll be 2019 then. So have a great night. Shalom.